let's talk about setting up the tasks. So you should have compiled questions for 4 to 5 tasks. And now we're actually going to organize those into basically like blocks or worksheets. As far as setting up the lock itself, that's going to technically be in 2 parts. We're going to do the part where they solve now, and then the part where they input the lock later. So as far as solving the lock, you should have picked your 5 categories. Each one of those is going to be a task. Make sure that you have some locks or some tasks that are very simple. Like you'll want to have one that's fairly simple and probably put it towards the beginning so that students don't get demotivated. And then some more like one challenging task, and then the others need to be kind of medium. You do want to generally think about what kind of lock you want to use, but it doesn't have to be specific. You can always change what kind of lock. It's not nothing set in stone. So I'm going to talk you through how I organized a couple of my locks or tasks for my simple and compound interest Unit 1 breakout room. So the first one I created was the 4-letter lock or task, and this one was over simple interest. So I took just these questions. I kind of tweaked it a little bit. They were just worksheet questions, and they didn't have 4 answers or multiple choice. So what I ended up doing is I found the correct answer, and then I created the other answers by doing incorrect processes, which, you want to put that in there so the students have, they really have to work for it. You don't want it to be too easy. So I did 4 questions, and what I did for this is I was trying to decide what kind of a lock I think I might want. And I thought, okay, let me do a letter lock first. So a 4-letter word or just 4 random letters. I chose to do a word, and I decided to do spit, S-P-I-T. So what I did is I found all my correct answers. So the first answer is actually going to be this, and then I created the other answers. And then I think this one should be actually right there. Okay, so, oh, here it is, yeah, spit. So this would be a correct answer, this would be a correct answer, and this would be a correct answer. So all I did is make up wrong answers, and then I put letters in here as well. I tried to not reuse letters just to make it interesting. And then as I worked out what to do for these tasks, I do write it down on paper because sometimes I will do this with physical locks as well in the classroom, and I don't want to forget the code to my lock because that's happened before, and then I end up not being able to unlock it. As far as the letter locks and all that stuff at the top, I don't typically put that until the very end, but I knew I wanted this one to be a letter lock. Just make sure you tell your students up front what they need to be doing. So if they're solving for a letter lock, tell them how many letters. So this one should be 4 letters, right? There's not more than one answer. The other lock that I did was for compound interest. That one I put in a Google Sheet. And for this one, I decided to do a number lock. So what the students are going to be tasked to do is to solve 4 compound interest problems, given the information. And the first 3 I kind of made it a little bit more simple because compound interest formula is harder. So I put everything in here and I labeled it, right? I told them what the principal was, I told them what the rate was, I told them how many years. For the last one, I didn't scaffold that for them. I put it all together. So there is a space for them. If they want to do that themselves, they can do it. The other thing you want to be aware of is when you're making these, make sure the students know where to put their answers. So I'm going to highlight this real quick so that students know, like, put your answer right here. It's not going to add it up for them, but I decided I wanted this one to be a number lock. So over here, I'm going to put number lock, and I think I had that at like 18. So there we go. Oops. So this is definitely a number lock. And I'm going to give them a hint here because most students struggle with this. So I'm just going to say add it up. What their job is going to be is to take all of these answers, add it up, and that's going to go into the number lock at the end. So that's a couple of different options. I'll show you 2 more in just a second.